Very well, thank you. How are you?
Kongo missing, you're welcome to the program. Big up calling Jean and anybody who is tuned in today. This is Serone Arab Chelule Jason. You're tuned in to a very, very important version of Kokweet, version 1, which we are talking about, in which we are talking to the category of people we call Keegan, the leaders of industry, industry. We've been talking about Keegan for a very long time. So for people who are not familiar with it, they would be lost. But what we basically talked about Keegan is the image of a successful young person who lives the dream life that comes to save a family from, poverty, disadvantage, and transforms society as he transforms family as well. And so it fits very well with today's guest. And I want to go straight into allowing him to introduce himself. I don't know whether he will do it in English or he'll do it in vernacular. I am in Germany, based out of Germany, not very far from Hamburg. And my guest is based somewhere. He's going to tell us where he is. I have seen all your comments. Kennedy Jerwan, I've seen you. Celestine Rono, you're watching Masketing. I've seen you. Some Ezekiel, Talam Giptum, tuned in from Nairobi. Ruto George from Kansas. Beth Bernard, I think you are in Nepal or somewhere in the Asian continent. Nelson, you obviously can get in because I see you're commenting. Let me know what the problem is and we can help you. Sigilai Leo, I have seen you. Gilbert Kwe, Jambo, Mrs. Go watching. Atinye debut. Kigalia, let's do that in the coming program, not now. James Keter Choge, I'm here but can't see or hear. I guess, is that your relative?
That's my brother.
That's your brother.
Yeah.
You need to click a link, Choge, James. Click on the Facebook link. If you can't, just go to facebook.com/Matelong2/live, or just go to the page Matelong2, the number 2, and you should be able to access the page, and then from the page you will be able to watch. What I do is I will also invite you guys to start what you call a watch party. I will start mine on my profile as well. That makes it easier for people to access. Kiprotichkoske says it's loud and clear. Ambrose is watching us from Eldred, Mylene home. Thank you very much. Joseph, what I didn't want to do is to take the thunder from you. So I'd like you to introduce yourself to our guests.
All right.
And then we can have the main interview in English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much, Daktari.
Yep.
And it's a pleasure to be live with you tonight.
Pleasure is mine.
Yeah. I'm getting what I'm calling you. I'm going to go with tool. I'm sure wherever my mom is watching, she's laughing. At some point when I spoke, when I said my Ngulemin. So yeah, this is because I grew up in Nairobi, but especially the foundation of my childhood.
Yeah.
So the Kalenjin sort of escape. But Kiuruna Joseph Kipchirchir, Arab Malay. But I go with my dad's name, Choge. Kiba in so originally Kibunu Aldai or Legilin Kapkoli. And then Orenyo Coin and Glen Kobil. Okay. Tiondo Nyago Toret. That's the Watok. Together, yeah, juu tunatembea kabisa hata mtatuona. Yeah, so that's me, Joseph Choge. I'm the CEO of Premier Food Industries Limited. Premier Foods is part of the Aga Khan Group under the industrial and promotional arm called IPS Group. We are about 30 companies in that group, including Farmer's Choice, All Park Industries, among others. So from a career perspective, I joined, I've been with the IPS for Peptang for the last 2 years, leading the team there, a 500 strong workforce, and entertaining the Kenyan, the Kenyan families from breakfast to dinner for the last 2 years, and it's been an amazing journey. I'm born out of 8 siblings. My dad, Mr. Stephen Choge, and mom, Pauline Choge, both of them retired now in Kitale, doing some little farming there. My dad was a soldier at the Kenya Army. He was one of those first ones, joined in 1964. My mom has always been at the farm in Kibagenge, in Kitale. And yeah, that's where I grew up. So I'm number 6, the last born of the boys. I'm married to a beautiful girl. Now I'm those people who try to bring Kenya together. So my wife is half Meru, half Luya. So my kids are literally Kenyans by definition. But Kingen, is from the father, right? Yeah. Yeah. So we're blessed with 4 beautiful children, 2 boys and 2 girls. We live together here in Nairobi. Yeah, and they're the reason I grind every day and go out all day.
Very good. Kongo missing in Jitap College in Nyon and Gunong program in at committee. My more Ibinda Joseph.
Ibinda clan and
Ibinda so 8 set. Kimnige.
Yeah, kabisa.
Yeah, it should be Kimnige taking away Sagata Mugen. Yeah, okay. Fantastic. Kimite you Kimnige in that Joseph Kipchirchira Malele, never got Choge. Ki yuegop kole unegop kole wi babro yetap kaptala mungogere in nande so ba ketale ole minye ba genge fame Joseph ko mo college ne ko je moge indojin company ne gure Premier Foods. Joseph, for people who may not understand what Premier Foods, there is a very easy way to remember, isn't it? Right. I remember growing up, that even where I work now, I didn't know about the company behind the iconic brands that I work with until I joined this company. So when you want to help people understand where you work, you probably need to mention some of the iconic brands that you work with.
Correct. So basically, you put it very well. I work in one of those companies where the brand name is actually bigger than the company name. Yeah. So I work for the House of Peptang. Everyone mwenye amekuwa grow up anajua chips unaweka tomato sauce kwa Peptang itu. Nisisikie mambo wengine ati tomato sauce kwake, throw those ones out. Peptang itu. So Peptang is our brand.
I'm going to charge you premium rates because you're advertising on my program. Yeah, thanks a lot, Joseph. I mean, and it's not only ketchup that you make, right?
Yeah, we make a myriad of products. If you allow me.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So essentially, what we do is we try to. So when I came into the business, we wanted to craft a way of being in your table from breakfast to dinner. So even as we grow our portfolio to ensure that even that ugali that you eat, the lunch that you eat, everything includes Peptang. Yeah? In the meantime, so we are mostly on the condiment side. So you'll find we have the tomato sauce, the ketchup, the baked beans in the morning that you used, honey, Peptang honey, one of the quality honey we have in the market. We have juices. We have the Orchid Valley brand of juice that is taking the market by storm. Okay. We have the pep juice that you dilute to drink, especially lots of the village where I grew up, for example, where we were so many, I mean, 8 children, you can't go buying packet juice. So you buy the dilute to drink juice, put water, what were kunywe. So pep juice is one of those. We have the jam, the Peptang jam. We have other myriads of products that the canned, beans and stuff like that. We have a myriad of products, I can say, about 50 products that we have.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Thanks, Jonathan. I mean, on the fun side of it, when we started the program, we put you and your team, I don't know, I counted about 15 or so people dancing to Jerusalem. What was the inspiration behind this? Why did you do that?
So, okay, so basically for me, as the leader of the organization, there were 2 things I was looking at. So I was doing it, I love dancing myself. In fact, how I ended up getting my wife is through a salsa dance, okay? Yeah. Now, so dancing is in me. And when there's a wave of Jerusalem dance that is being done by corporate, it's going around. But for me, I was doing it more from engagement point of view for my employees. Yeah, so I get them engaged, and number 2, we get to showcase our products. Okay, and just dancing with them, me turning the lady, or doing that thing, being part of the team. Amazing stuff. So that's the kind of thing that keeps me going.
So it's all really about engagement, right. And this is very. This is very, very, very common in the private sector, isn't it? That people want to be able to humanize their CEO. They want to see their CEO not as a god, but as a human. And this is one of the ways of demystifying the superhuman to just one of us, that kind of a person.
Absolutely.
Tell us something about your career journey, Joseph, because when you talk about your family having grown up in a family of a military guy, what was it like growing up in a family of a father who had the discipline of a military guy? and how did that impact you and your 7 siblings in your career choices and growth?
Right. So one thing I can say is having a military dad, as well as a very disciplinarian mom, has made sure that we, towed the line and not feel entitled in our growth journey. So I started my schooling in Kahawa Primary School. So there was in Nairobi. That's near the barracks where my dad was working. And, Dad believed in education. And so the foundation of having a very good nursery school and a good pre-primary school was very important to be able to propel me into the next level. So she put me in a very good nursery school as well as pre-primary school. And as I was growing up, the cheekiness, I'm a very, outgoing, easy guy, cheeky as well. So by the time I was in class 5, I was a very playful guy. I think my dad saw this guy is going to get lost. So in class 5, from Nairobi, I was thrown to Lokichara Primary School in Turkana. You need take the milk first. This one you need to take some milk to cool that down. Yeah. So I was thrown to Lokichara Primary School, and you can imagine some desert somewhere. I have no clue what is happening here. But today, when I look back, Dad and Mom knew exactly what they were doing, because I was going to get lost. I started some, those silly behaviors when you were a kid, ganging up with some kids, and you could easily, be swayed and disappeared into the oblivion. So going into Lokichara Primary School was a good thing. After that, you had to work hard. In fact, I was working very hard to get very high grades so that I was not called to Lodwar High School. I go out to Kabarak, I go out to Alliance, all these other schools. And I scored very high marks in my high school, my primary school. And guess what? I was called to Lodwar High School. So I told him, I've put my all. Whatever you can do for me, please do. I can't continue the sister. So, Sarwa, So Mzee took me, looked for a school, and I got Litain High School in Kericho. Fantastic school. And I am doing very well nowadays. So I went to Litain High. I worked my way through Litain High first year. By year 2, I was actually a prefect, you know, prefect, third year. By the time I was leaving Form 4, I was the head boy of the school. And left a legacy there as one of the, you know, I used to play basketball. I used to work in drama. And all this time, they would put the guys who do basketball, drama, this kind of guys who are not respectful, not the kind of people you want to be with. But the discipline that was put in me from a military person, I could be able to balance all those, you know. And by the end of it, you know, offering the leadership within the school, to date, you know, I've etched my name in the school and for years to come, you know. Yeah. So from there, I went to Nairobi University, where I normally say I graduated with 2 degrees, one Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, and the second one,
your wife.
Wife. Where's the talk about bwana?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you married your college sweetheart.
I married my campus sweetheart from I think we met in the second year of the university, and it was then 2 years after campus we married together. 2 years after campus is where we got married. Yeah. Then we went on a honeymoon for about 4 years. Then we started popping babies, you know, in a line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And now you started the honeymoon again, right? So after 4 babies, it's honeymoon.
Kongoje so wacha tulea, you know. So, yeah. So I hold that BSc degree. I hold that BSc mathematics from the University of Nairobi. I also, while at the same time, while in campus, I used to do CPA. So I managed before I cleared campus. I was a CPA K. And midstream also, after finishing CPA, there were some exemptions in the CPS, so I decided to take it and be able to manage to become a CPS K. Then I joined the corporate world, and soon after the corporate world, in the midst of the corporate world, I decided to go back for my MBA. So I did an MBA in international management from the University of London, cleared that. Also did some leadership course with Strathmore. So I'm a senior management leadership program graduate from the Strathmore Business School. So all this just to, and a myriad of other courses that I cannot just mention, but just to equip me to be a better leader in what I do.
Okay, take us through your journey in the corporate world. You know, after school, you did something, right? Or after school before campus, there is something you did that makes, you know, when I read it somewhere, I thought, this guy is crazy. Why did you want to do what your father had advised you not to do, or what he jokingly mentioned to you? Do you want to take us through that journey from Litain High School? And if you remember your admission number, it would be great, you know, to get the boys jazzed up.
Joseph Manel Choge, admission number 3558.
Yes.
The candidate of year 2000. We are the millennial candidates.
Fantastic. Tell us about your journey, Joseph, because immediately thereafter, you know, you had a conversation with your dad before you went to campus, and you are already a quasi-millionaire in your own right, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm glad you pointed that out, because, you know, from where I was sitting and having just gotten out of campus, a broke guy, went into the real world. And after 2 months of being at home, I was asking myself, what do I need to do? And before I know it, one of my brothers, the guy you just mentioned, James Kibet Ketere, married from Kaplamai in across Kibagenge, the other side of Cherangani. And they introduced me to a few farmers there. And they were selling milk. So I'll tell you, I was buying milk at 5 bob from Kaplamai. And I was going to sell it at 10 bob near town in this other side. And I started with a bicycle, okay? So I would buy 20 liters, 30 liters, and there was demand for this product. And so I got more and more farmers to be able to trust me with their product. So I didn't have cash up front. I'd go and tell a lady, or mama wa nyumba, tarita jego, 5 liters, alibani mutai. Okay. So the lady would give me even 10 liters, 15 liters, 20 liters, you know, as I went by, and I gained trust. And before I knew it, I was taking hundreds of liters from Kaplamai all the way to town. The place was called Ngonyek, actually. So I would go to Ngonyek and take milk and take. And then before I knew it, Bana, 200,000 every month. My friend, like Ruto would say, my friend, why am I going to come? I don't want to go to campus. So when Mzee told me that, you know, of course, we were tracking the time for going to campus, and I was telling Mzee, Kirwaman, 200,000 kila month. Why do we have to? Why do I have to break this? To go and start things, and when you hear everyone is talking about joblessness in the country, why do I have to? But Mzee insisted and said, you go. If you go get your degree, come kuja uza maziwa kama unataka. You know? I also wanted to go to the forces because I admired the forces because that's where he was, right? I grew up seeing the parade, beautiful. You know, the stars on the shoulders for the generals. That's what I wanted. Beautiful. Yeah, but Mzee insisted, no problem. You like all this? Just go to the university, come back. If you still want to do it, just do it. But just have that fallback plan. I think, you know, looking back, and this is why I tell my fellow youth and young people, listen to your parent. He's not your parent for nothing. They know exactly what they're saying. And before I knew it, went to campus, and things just took a different direction. And today I'm grateful to that Mzee for telling me to just take that, you know, leap. What I thought was right.
And so where did you go after campus? So you started off, you got your CPAK, you got your CPSK, you got your BSc mathematics, you got your wife.
Yes.
And then
I like the fact that you mentioned that other degree.
No, because it's important, isn't it? I think, absolutely. You know, you and I being Kalenjin, sometimes we downplay the importance of a woman in our lives. And that's why, you know, people will always say, you know, and these are the children. And you and I know we need to outlive that and really stop looking at it as and showcase them as a very important part of our life because, you know, we are incomplete without them.
Correct.
And that is why I'm always very careful. When I introduce the children, I don't say my children, I say our children.
Yes.
I don't say my daughter, I say our daughter, because I have to respect the fact that my wife has a very important role and a very important place of importance in that child's life. So you got these three things, which, you know, biblically speaking, is also very, very relevant because, you know, Proverbs 31 says, whoever finds a good woman finds a good thing.
Yes.
So what happened after your CPS, CPAK, BSc, CPLK, CPSK, and your wife? What happened? Where did you go?
Excellent. And I like Daktari, I really appreciate the fact that you put a woman, you know, from the Kalenjin perspective, and now on a pivotal position in our lives, right? So Brenda and I, let me introduce Brenda. Brenda is also a BSc Mathematics graduate. And even as we were doing the BSc Mathematics, she already had a BSc in Computer Science from the University of Sunderland. So from there, we exited the university and started tamarking. And part of our dating, you know, dating while tamarking is actually fun. We printed CVs. So my brother called Henry Choge, works for Kitrako now. Henry would go to the office and print for me CVs that I would just have a bunch. You know, by then it was not more online. It was more, you know, the hard copy. And Brenda and I would start from Westlands to Upper Hill to Mombasa roadside, walking like crazy. And then at lunchtime, we'd meet at Uhuru Park, you know, and just sit and discuss how has it been today.
For the airbaggers, you know, if I still remember my Kenyanese, I mean, I've been out of the country for 20 years, you will excuse me, but I remember people used to meet at Uhuru Park for airbaggers. Yes, go on.
Same thing. So we'd tarmac together. We really tarmac together. And in fact, she got a job just a month before me with a tech company. In fact, she always complains why she didn't want to go to campus as well, like me, to go to Chiromo to do the mathematics, because she had already done a BSc in computer science with Sunderland. But the dad insisted. Today, I always go back to the dad and tell the dad, Baba yangu, shika hii, thank you very much for insisting she comes to campus because I've not got a wife, you know? So Gongwe missing, yeah? So she got a BSc in computer science. She's a computer scientist. That's what she deals with now today. Now, for me, I got a month later. And you know, the funny thing is, when we were walking, looking for these jobs, I wrote the application when I didn't know that company. It's called Real Insurance. It used to be called Royal Insurance. Now it's been bought by Britam Insurance. I went to the reception and asked the lady, can I get a job here? She told me, kijana yangu sijui. Lakini shika hii karatasi, andika tu barua na uweke CV, huwezi jua. I wrote at the reception desk. A couple of weeks later, I got a call, and that was my first job. After tarmacking the whole place. And every day when I would go for lunch, I would buy this lady the lunch, you know, because she told me, andika barua, huwezi jua. She's a nice mama. So this thing of kids nowadays just sitting and waiting for their parents to do everything, I don't understand. We need to go out there, hustle for yourself, you know. Mama amekusomesha, amekufikisha 20 years, bado unang'ang'ana na mzazi. No, he's done his part, jaribu. Okay, he can help you wherever he can, but try to do your part. Yeah. And that was my, the beginning.
And it's not only about mzazi, isn't it, Joseph? It's also about somebody asking you and asking me for help and waiting, sitting down there and waiting for us to deliver that help.
Yeah.
You tell them there is a role you need to play. I have seen an opportunity, but can you write a CV in this way or write an application letter in this way? And they are like, can you bring me the thing when it is ready? And I'll just go and report. That's not how life works, isn't it?
That's not how life works. And I think we've, especially today's parenting, we've held our kids like, for better or lack of better, like a mayai.
Mm-hmm.
No, let the kid go and hustle. Let them know the pain of looking, the pain. And even when they get that job, they take care of that job very well because they actually sweated looking for it. You know, today somebody ananiambia nitafutie kazi, sijui nini. The CV you look at, he's not even done the CV. When they do the CV, they're not done very well. When they come to the interview, they don't give their best, you know. So those are the things that the Kenyan youth today need to take up and ensure that as they go out to hustle, you know, give your all, right? So that was my first stepping stone job.
Joseph, just as you proceed, because I think we also have people interacting on Facebook, and I've seen Makena Wamatiri, maybe somebody known to you.
Yeah.
She's watching from Meru. She's like, I'm watching from Meru. Makena Wamatiri, maybe related or known to your wife. I don't know. Yeah. Edwin Bet, you are an inspiration to the young generation. Guys, I will not read all of them. You are all saying the same thing. He's an inspiration. It is real life. And I really loved the fact that you are picking milk on a bike, despite the fact that your father would probably have had several pickups to that you could pick it. And Paris is saying, Paris Cherotiji is saying, Daktari, she meant Choge. But I think for someone to reach where you must have had your own self-drive and not just waiting to be pushed around by somebody. That's what she's saying in short. And he's saying he's guessing that your father is between Jumiot and Sawiyot. But, thinking about it, he's likely Sawe, yeah? How old is he, 70?
20, almost 8,
almost 80. And he's Sawe, right? You're right. You're right. Munene Naftali is saying you're his CEO and he's looking up to you and saying very inspirational. Tell us, after Royal, where did you go next?
So after Royal is a big story, and I hope Royal is not listening tonight.
You just need to take insurance against that, Joseph.
You know, in life, and I want to tell the youth, in life, you have to take some risks.
Mm-hmm.
So between me and you, we joined with Brenda. Brenda was earning 30,000, I earned 30,000. So this is a story, especially probably to encourage the youth. And probably not to follow probably I was lucky. Brenda is earning 30,000, I was earning 30,000 for that Royal Insurance job.
So whose money is that? It's all Brenda's. Brenda has 60,000, you have 0. That's what the normal thinking today is.
You weren't married yet, eh? So it was still separate accounts.
Yeah, okay.
Essentially, it's the woman's money, yeah?
Yeah, go.
So now, when I was at Real Insurance, Brenda went in and negotiated and got 65,000. I was at 30,000. So the ego in the Kalenjin boy child, I went straight and told my head of finance that I think I've gotten another proposal from somewhere. I need to get 65,000. And the lady was like, but you know, by the time I was saying that, I knew I was doing a good job. I was an investment and treasury officer. I was doing a fantastic job. So I knew the timing was right. So timing has to be right when you're doing such a bold move. So I told the lady, I'm resigning because I'm going. And I handed in a letter of resignation. If you don't give me 65, I'm out of here. And I went back to my wife and told her, I've done the most stupidest thing in the world. Oh, I've actually resigned and I don't have a job. But I told them I'm going to a job somewhere. Oh my word. So day one went, they didn't talk. Day two, they didn't talk. Oh my God, I knew I'm finished. Then day three, Sophie Karanja, she was the CFO, calls me. Tells me, Joseph, I know what you're doing for this company. I don't want you to go. Very young, uprising guy, blah, blah, blah. We can't be able to match that kind of figure, but Nevambia, no. If you don't match, me, I'm out. But I like what I do. Long story short, day 4, day 5, I got a 65K salary. Mpaka nikajiuliza singesema 100,000.
Hiyo tamaa sahau.
So I got 65 just because Brenda had gotten 65.
Yeah.
And so we did. So I did Real Insurance for about 2 years. Fantastic place. I enjoyed myself. It was investment and treasury. I knew a lot about the capital markets and things like that. I would invest for great guys like Eddie Njoroge, one of the corporate industry gurus. And he was one of the owners of Real Insurance at that point in time. And I would do their private portfolio. So it was a fantastic experience. And then one day Unilever came calling, doubling my salary, you know, from that 65 to some crazy 150. I couldn't even think twice, you know. So I just told Sophie, this time I'm not actually bluffing. I have to go, you know, for that, you know, the multinational appeal. So I joined Unilever for a financial accountant position. I joined Unilever Tea Kenya, actually at that point. So I would shuttle between Kericho and Nairobi, but I was based in Nairobi from a consumer business perspective. Did Unilever Tea for about a year. Then I moved to Unilever East and Southern Africa on a promotion to do management accounting. It was more of a business analyst role, consolidating the whole region, East and Southern Africa, about 7 countries. Fantastic. Did that for about 2.5 years. And there's something about me that now Naftali is in the call and my employee, I don't want him to hear this. You know, I always want new challenge every other time, you know. There's a time if I've achieved a milestone, you need to give me a new set of growth challenge for me to continue staying there. So by 2.5, 3 years, I needed something new. And I was supposed to move to a new role, but by that time I was headhunted by Airtel to go and do an executive assistant role for the CFO of Africa. Sounded like a very good role. It actually went out to be a very rich role. I would interact with the CEOs of various countries, 17 African countries. It was fantastic. So I did that for about 2 years, actually exactly 2 years, before I went to my CFO, Hans van Lierop, and told him, Hans, I've done this for 2 years. I need the next challenge. You know, there's nothing this thing is adding. I mean, I'm not seeing anything that is adding to my role. And before I knew it, Hans sent me out to a country called Gabon as the general manager for finance for that particular country. And I went to Gabon. Gabon is a French-speaking country. I didn't speak no single French. The only word I knew was bonjour. And I said, I'm gonna just immerse myself and try to navigate the waters there. So I find myself in Gabon. The first time I went to a supermarket, I was looking for chicken. I ended up eating quail because I was using Google. You know, chicken is poulet. So I don't know what these ones were. Before I knew it, I was buying some. I wondered why this chicken is so small. You know, as they say, it's history, because after that I managed to interact with the Gabonese people. I normally say they're more French than the French themselves. So it was actually a good platform for me to learn a lot of things. The first 2 years were fantastic for me because it's a whole new learning, a whole new experience. But then after 2 years, you know, my family was in Nairobi. And, I started missing my family. And this is one thing I normally say, if I had to do it all over again, I would ensure that I carry my family with me, because Kimberly is my firstborn, and she was growing up without me. I would leave her not walking. The next time I come back, she's walking. The next time she's picking up first words. So I missed a lot of those milestones.
Yeah.
And every year I was hoping that Airtel Africa would take me back to the group office. It kept extending a year. And before I knew it, I was 4 years in Gabon without my family. That was really difficult for me. Actually, you know, one of the things I say is one of the biggest regrets. I say when my children are being born, I'm always in the delivery room holding my wife's hand. But for one of the kids, because of the transiting time, missed it because I was just 1 hour to, you know, delay between Rwanda and Nairobi. Karen was born without me. One day I'll apologize to her, you know, she's only 4 now. But so it was.
You know, it's always easy, isn't it, Joseph? You just need to write a very fat check into her bank account.
The easiest apology.
Or you probably pay her first mortgage, and that's it. You know,
exactly. Okay,
that's the most powerful apology a father can give a daughter. I mean, what you say, I relate with that a lot, because, you know, I lived in China for about 4.5 years, away from my family. But I was lucky, and you also, I see that that in the absence of we, the men, hustling out there looking for life, the incredible women that we are married to are always there, you know, standing firm and holding the family. And raising the children. And I think, you know, the sacrifices that you made to be away from them are paying off now. You know, you being where you are is not a trivial thing. You got lots of interactive comments here. People are talking about, you know, the problem with your generation is that a lot of them are asking their parents for their share of the land so that they sell it out and buy motorbikes. And I don't know what your perspective on that would be. Jerob Komen is asking about treasury bills. I'm not sure that this is the right forum to talk about it, but it would be great to you know, discuss that. Jane Kipchacha is saying you actually got your worth. I mean, with regard to the 65,000 that you were demanding, and she says it is because you are qualified for that. Sheikh Biwad Marende Bor says Kongo. I think he's like.
Well, in fact when I'm introducing myself, I should have said we are Kabasoro. That's my family name.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then Melchizedek is from Sambut. Always, you know, on my show says is that's a very smooth growing there, and you went out of your comfort zone. leaving your family in Nairobi and going to live out there, and then being able to do that. Joseph, it would be pretentious for us to imagine that you've had it all smooth. What in your professional career, growing, because this is what we do in the private sector, you grow, you enter somewhere and then you grow into a role, or you grow into a different role, or you grow into different roles. What are the challenges you encountered and how did you overcome them?
I can almost call myself a happy-go-lucky kind of guy. There are various challenges that you can come your way. But even before I speak about challenges, it's a question of, and when I'm speaking to either parents or the youth in this country, it's a question of how you maneuver through them. Okay? There's this, especially us Kalenjins, we tend to be so shy. We want, tunaweka mkono nyuma nini. You have to defend your space. You have to ask. In fact, one of the things that going for that 65,000 taught me, my wife, when we were coming from campus, my wife was telling me, mimi siwezi kubali job chini ya 30,000. And I was asking, in my head, I'm asking, you're just fresh from campus. You should take anything you get. But there's a point to that. If you know exactly what you want, you will get it. What you want. No, the day I wanted 65,000 is the day I got 65,000. Get it?
No, you're right. I mean, the problem, and this is where a bit of I don't know whether we would call it emotional intelligence, or Correct. is it experience or something? Is required, isn't it? Because I remember when I was leaving university as well, I got invited to an interview in Saarland. That is the last county before France on the other side. Okay. And I had to drive 985 kilometers for the interview. And when I reached there, they had already made a decision that it was a private sector company, which was a startup from university. And they said, oh, you know what? We're actually going to give you this job. We've made a decision already. And they put the interview at, they put the interview. I'm just admitting the guy who is coming in for the next show, Joseph, so don't worry. They put the interview at 4 p.m. on a Friday. I mean, of all the days you can imagine, but then it is Germany, so it's okay. The roads are super good. I was doing 200 kilometers an hour on the Autobahn, so it was okay. But when I reached there, they're like, oh, we made a decision already. We are going to give you the job. And my contract at the university then was coming to an end. And I would easily have gone into this panic mode. And then I looked at them and I said, okay, let's talk terms. And what they were offering me was going to be 1,000 euros less per month than what I was earning at university at that time.
Yeah.
And I said, well, in Germany, I have social insurance. So if I want to go jobless, it means I don't pay health insurance. I don't pay, taxes at the same level I was paying. And I would be earning more than what I was earning at that time. For at least 1 year, I would be guaranteed that. Yeah. And they said, well, you take it or not. And I said, no, I'm not taking it. I refused. But I imagine somebody else who may not have a choice. And a lot of our youth today are actually underemployed. They are not unemployed. They are employed, but they are underemployed.
Right.
And I don't know what advice you would give to such a person.
No, it's simple. You just need to know your worth. And if your worth comes from you, you just need to know your worth. You have to be able to be in a position to, because of what you know you're going to offer. Before you come to an interview, and I like some kids. Nowadays, there's some kids who are very bold. They come and tell you, Joseph, I don't even need your pay. But this is exactly. So my Orchid Valley juice today, for example. I tell you, your Orchid Valley juice, you're selling, because I see you advertising online, you're doing this. I'm going to do this. I need to do this packaging, this. Your revenue is going to go up by 24%. Out of the 24% is probably this much of your revenue. I don't want much. I just want 1% of that. I mean, why would I refuse?
Yeah,
of
yeah.
value.
Because I mean, they earn as much as they sell,
Correct.
right?
Return on investment is clear.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The business model is clear. Joseph, you know, quick fire. We call it quick fire at this stage.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you. So there is Helen Jemutai Choge. I don't know whether that's your sister or
Firstborn Kwanzaa, 10 years apart between me and her.
Helen Jemutai Chamge. She's saying that it is very true in the case of motorbikes that a lot of land at Kapseret is actually being sold by young people who are going to buy a motorbike. And I mean, I don't know, Joseph. It's a bug which has bitten people. There are two things, isn't it? Yeah. There is an absolute apathy to work. So the culture of work is almost zero. And I get this every day, you know, living abroad for close to 20 years now, you know, in China and then Germany. I sometimes get relatives who ask me, can you send me 5,000 shillings? I need money for, and these are young children who go to school and then they are home. And they're like, give me 5,000 shillings. I'm like, I would like to do it. Unfortunately, you know, my own children here, 23-year-old, 20-year-old, they sign up to distribute pizza.
Yeah.
In our little city here.
Right.
My son had his own car. He was, even before that, he was borrowing my car, and then he was using his bike, and then later he got his own car. He was distributing pizza where he was not getting paid by the hour. He was getting paid a tip. For every pizza he delivers, he gets, I don't know, $2 or €2 or something like this. And I say, you're living close to a tea estate. Why don't you just go and work?
Yes.
You know? And they're like, why do you let your children work? You're a professor, you are a global manager. And I'm like, that is me, my money, you know. My children are keen to earn their own money because they want to be proud and spend their own money. And I don't know how we are going to disabuse this young generation of this idea. My father is a millionaire, I am a millionaire. My father is a tycoon, I am a tycoon. My father is a professor, I am a professor. Joseph is my father, he's the CEO, I am the CEO. No, it doesn't work like that. Yeah?
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
It's sad, actually.
Yeah. And you know, the other day I saw some guy in, I think it was Nigeria. He has a security company. He set up a security company. And then he just employed his son to work in the same security company. And somebody was posting it on Facebook. And they were like, you know, there were tons and tons of comments, and people are like, I can't let my son do that. If I'm the CEO, I can't let my son do that. And I was like, that is exactly how that guy is going to be the CEO of that company. Exactly, isn't it?
Exactly.
So the work ethic, Joseph, I don't know what we would be teaching our people on quick fire. Anything you would tell them on you know, regarding work ethic, how good it is to make your hands dirty. Right?
Kwani silingit kwanza? I hope I got that right.
No, you got it. Congratulations. That's fantastic.
But I mean, Dakari, you've put it very well. We have to get our hands dirty. You know, and there's a joy that comes knowing that you've sweated for this thing. You know, you might need to censor this, but you need to work your asses off. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah. For you to get get your hands dirty. That's what our youth need to know. Remember, on a silver platter, you don't even appreciate what you're getting.
Fantastic. Yeah. Joseph, I will definitely look for another opportunity and then bring you on TV, because this was just a taste. And I think I see from the comments people saying inspiration. Your brother is over the roof. James, he had problems watching it, but I hope he finally managed to. I will create a YouTube video and share with you. Quick fire. Do you watch any football, any rugby?
I was hoping you will ask. And you know, I wish that James' brother was there because he's Arsenal, and me.
Oh man, Manu.
It's red.
Manu damu inyendet.
Manu damu is.
James gonna new as Arsenal. We are coming in, I think, in 1 hour. Ibe Arsenal Premier League this year, my friend.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
No, you have another 20 years.
Ginde 100K para yo legi so mesan logo sumo.
Impossible.
I will give 50K, you give 50K.
But that we can do for this year. Mimi nimewekelea, wacha niwekelee kwa hii live 50 iko kabisa. Sawa, deal.
Watoto watasoma. So Manilago, it's not our money, we donate it to children to go to school. Fantastic.
Done.
Thanks a lot, Joseph.
Yeah.
Any advice you have for a young person, young girl, young man leaving college today that is going to start tamaking as you did? Anything?
It's simple for me. One thing is you just have to be authentic. Be yourself. Okay, enjoy what you do. Today, when I go to the office, I don't look at myself as a CEO. I'm Joseph Nebagibagenge. You know, the guy who pandered mboga na mama, whatever. So there's nothing pretentious about it. Now go out there, work hard. Position yourself. How do you set yourself from the crowd? You know, by the time I was leaving campus, I was asking myself, if, when I was going to campus, I wanted to do probably law or a BCom, but I ended up doing BSc in mathematics because that is what I was called for. And I was thinking to myself, BSc mathematics, what am I going to be in the corporate world? And that's when I decided to probably take a CPA to be able to shape the direction of my professionalism into accountancy. CPS, probably because there are many of us who are CPA. How do I set myself apart from the crowd? And there are very many things you can actually do to set yourself apart from the crowd. And most importantly, especially the big up put it. Mwache kuwa muko na ungwana ingine munajificha sana. Get out. This thing, if you want a promotion, you don't just sit there and wait for it to come. You go and ask for it. Okay? Yeah. Don't be a pushover in the corporate world. Go for it. Yeah, fantastic. Joseph, one of the biggest problems is that mojine guti tap chego kena lu chego ya tuli moy gatiam kabisa to kai na ma kabisa ne tombwe now gele now ameje ke picture ma oye uyi gotete picture nyanye it's okay picture wa minifu kabisa en kila kitu chokiaye ko ngigoni neng position agetugul egu chito nebo negiani. Yes, exactly. Agipaisi ngomna mulotyo in anything you do. Kongoi missing bwana CEO James Joseph Arap Choge. Kokweet followers, we've been watching live interview with the CEO of Peptang Mecca, Joseph Choge. We leave it here. We will reconnect with him later and we'll take him straight to TV next time. Joseph, thanks a lot for finding time. Good luck to Man United. 50K from myself, 50K from you, 100K strong. We will look for a needy kid and just educate that child or two. If Man United wins. Excellent. Yes. Of course. Thank you very much, sir. Have a good evening. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Bye for now. Bye. Okay.